Yo, we're back. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Leaders Create Leaders podcast and live. We are just getting everybody on here. I'm your host, Gerard Adams from Sedona, Arizona. What's poppin', everybody? What's good? What's good, everybody? Thanks for joining, everyone. Appreciate you. It's another beautiful day out here in Arizona. And absolutely loving Sedona. Definitely one of my top 10 places in the world to come to and just tap into the vortex that is here. Absolutely loving it. Hopefully you guys have seen my stories and loving the views. It's been amazing. Yesterday I had such a special moment with my younger sister, Monica. We were literally sitting down looking at one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen in my entire life. And my sister she just opened me up, you know. It was so powerful. We were talking about the power of creating to create and just being present in creating and for the love of creating and not always worrying about what other people think or, you know, just always worrying about the external, right? Like just doing it because it makes you fulfilled and it makes you happy. And we went deep talking about all things about tapping into the inner artist. It was so powerful. So I'm excited, guys. Real quick, everybody, as you know, I love to see who's part of the global community. Before we bring on our guest, real quick, please comment. Where are you coming in from? I want to know. I'm in Sedona. I'm excited about just the adventures I'm going on and working from here. I love this lifestyle, full integration, being able to make money, do what I love, help people succeed from anywhere on this planet. Just continuing to explore this world. It's the best thing. We're going to talk about how I've been able to build this type of business with one of the leading personal brand authorities in the world, my man Marc. So everybody, let's see. We got Morocco in the house. We got California in the house. Jersey City, what's up, Jersey? Utah. We got PA in the house. Virginia, what's good? Phoenix, what's good? I love it. Guys, comment your name and your city. Your name and your city. We got South Lake Tahoe. We got Parkland, Florida in the house. I love it. I love it. What's up, Lynn? We got Boston, baby. What's good? Florida. What's good, Travis? I love it. We got Trina at Toronto. Yeah. Morocco. That's a new one. I love it. So, guys, I'm super excited. Oh, okay. We got Yazid, Casablanca. That's new. I love it. Delaware. Yesterday we had South Africa, the Netherlands, UK, Belgium. Super dope. Lauren, what's good? Lauren from LA. I love you, Lauren. Appreciate you being on here. South Africa's back in the house. I see you. We got Romney from India. Let's see. We got Shan from Seattle. Fernando from Santa Ana. Woo! Russ from Salt Lake. Woo! Bran. We got Ruba from Dubai. Yeah, man. We got so many powerful leaders. Thank you guys for taking a moment to join me today. We're going to dive in. It's going to be a powerful one. I have one of the leading authorities in the world for personal branding. So real quick, before we dive in, prepare your questions. But how many of you are currently building your personal brand? Give me a number 1. Comment a number 2 if you want to build your personal brand, but you've had reasons why you haven't, whether it's imposter syndrome or just some fear, doubt. Give me a number 2. You know, I appreciate the vulnerability and the honesty. And then give me a number 3 if you're just, you don't really care about building your brand, your personal brand. You're doing your thing. You're happy, and you don't really mind using social media. You just want to use it more for your own fulfillment to learn. So, okay, cool. We got a lot of 2s. You want to grow your personal brand. Dope. We got some 1s that are doing it. Fire. That's what's up. I love it. Okay, cool. Noah, number 2. Karissa, number 2. Oh my God, you guys are in for it. You're going to learn so much from today's live. So much. So as you guys know, I've been an entrepreneur for 18 years. And I started off building a marketing agency. That was my first real gig, was building a marketing agency to help publicly traded companies tell their story. That led me to learning so much about the stock market. To this day, for 18 years, I've had a business with a business partner of mine. We've had a business for 18 years where we have helped publicly traded companies. We invest into the stock market, and it's been amazing. I've made well over 8 figures at this point with the stock market and email marketing. And then I went into the startup world, right? And you saw how I built a startup, a media company called Elite Daily. scaled that media company from my apartment with 2 interns to 200 employees, and we were able to get an exit to $1 billion company. And I went venture capital, and I learned about the whole tech ecosystem and Silicon Valley and Silicon Alley in New York. It was a really amazing journey. And then after that, I finally decided to go all in at telling my story, at becoming the media platform myself, becoming the brand. And it's been by far, out of all the 7- and 8-figure companies, I've had about a dozen of them throughout my career. Building my personal brand has led me to not only the most fulfillment, but the most consistent form of income. Basically, it's allowed Gerard Adams to become an asset, right? So how cool is that? Just like real estate is an asset, you can become an asset that is income generating and will help you to create real wealth in your life, as well as freedom and fulfillment. I can work from anywhere in the world and make money and help people. And the best part about it is, just like yesterday when I went to go get a smoothie, I get stopped and people tell me that I inspired them. Someone came over to me, gave me a hug, said, "Yo, G, thank you so much for the content you create. You inspired me." And that, to me, is how I measure my success, by how many people I inspire on a day-to-day basis and help them succeed. It's no longer about just how much money I make and the things that I achieve and what I do for my family. It's how I inspire people on a day-to-day basis in this world to go out there and find success for themselves. So today we're about to dive into what that looks like and how you can turn your own personal brand into your own media platform, monetize that, create fulfillment, create freedom from one of the leading experts to make you an authority in your niche. So guys, as you know, we love to give these leaders a powerful welcome. So when I bring him on, I need you guys to give him a powerful welcome. So a lot of times we do flowers. Today, let's see, what do we want to give them? What kind of emoji? What kind of emoji should we give to Marc when he comes on? How about we do this? Let's do some money emojis. I want to see money emojis. You do the money bag. You could do the money that's flying with like the angel wings. Whatever you want to do. You could do the chart. But I want you guys to comment an emoji that represents money. All right, let's create some wealth. All right, so here he comes. I'm going to bring him on. My good friend, one of the leading authorities out here, teaching a lot of leaders how to build their personal brand. Let's see, where are you at, Marc? I got to see your, here he is. All right, here we go. And leader, Marc Lack, everybody.
Woo! What up, G?
Let's go. Let's fucking go,
Let's get it.
my man. Let's go, man. I love you, bro. You're like
Back
such a
at you,
boss. You're a boss, man. You're looking good. You're looking clean.
bro.
My man got the swag. I love you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
First and foremost, man, gratitude. You're out here changing lives. You're helping people. You're elevating people. You're helping them to find fulfillment, freedom. You're helping them make wealth. You're changing families. You know, I got the ultimate respect for you. I always got your back. I look forward to doing this to the day we die, helping others succeed. So thanks for coming on, man. So here we go. I'm going to pin a comment real quick. As you saw, everybody's dropping some money emojis for you. They want the gas, bro. You got to bring the gas. I already know you.
Always.
All right, so I'm going to comment, put a pin comment for you. Real quick, Marc, bro, you've done a lot, man. You've helped leaders. I mean, you made freaking hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. You have helped so many leaders in their businesses, bro. Real quick, I mean, talk to me about what was your journey in entrepreneurship that led you to now seeing this huge gap in the marketplace of us going out there, leveraging our voice, leveraging our story, leveraging social media and this whole new era of the internet to help others, to really create that kind of new success in their life and like infinite freaking abundance and revenue in their businesses and in their life, bro?
In the beginning, when I saw people online making money, I was like, how can I make money and get rich and travel the world and live life on my terms? Like most people, you know, we want to live life on our terms. We want to be able to travel. We want to do the things that make us happy. So for me, I was like, I want to make money online. I know that that's a really easy thing to do because I see people driving Lambos and flying jets and mansions. And I was like, all right, I know some of it's fake and I know some of it's real. And so my first goal was to find real mentors and people who would actually achieve what I wanted. And in the online space, there's so many different ways to make money. You can do e-commerce, Shopify, drop shipping, affiliate marketing, network marketing. You can do coaching, consulting. You can just be an influencer who builds a following, and companies pay you money to shout out and endorse their products. And there's so many other ways that you can make money online. You can just broker and facilitate and connect deals and make money. There's so many ways to make money online. So when I started to really dive into all the ways to make money, there was really 2 or 3 big common things. Number one, they all had some way that they were selling. There had to be a transaction for money to be exchanged. So I was like, okay, I got to get good at selling. Number 2, marketing. If you want to be able to reach more people, get more customers, and really get your message and build your brand, you've got to be doing some marketing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn about marketing. And then what I started to realize was sales and marketing teaches you how to build trust. And ultimately, if you can build trust, people are going to be more likely to buy from you, because nobody says, hey, I'm buying from you because I don't trust you. No one says, take my money, I have no trust. Everybody buys from the person or the company that they have trust with, and you're going to be able to influence more people. So think of like Oprah Winfrey, who has clearly so much trust in the marketplace after 30 years with her personal brand. And that's why she's a multi-billionaire. And so that's an extreme example, but you can build your personal brand online and just be a big fish in a small pond. And so what I realized was, as I learned all the different ways to make money online, I started to realize, but that guy or girl has different marketing, but that guy or girl has a different sales process, but that. And so I was like, what is the real thing that makes them successful? And I started to peel back the layers, and there's a lot of things. We can get into personal development and mindset and habits and discipline and being hungry and rituals and goal setting. But at the end of the day, I realized that one of the biggest things that separated people online specifically was that they started leveraging their personal brand, which really means, in a nutshell, they controlled how they wanted to be perceived. They didn't just frivolously go out and have no idea who they are and what they stand for. They know who they are, they know what they stand for, and they start to build a community of people who are in resonance and alignment with what they stand for, the values they have, what they're trying to accomplish, what they believe. And so when you build your personal brand, you start to build a tribe and a community. And when you build a tribe and a community, what I really like about that is you can sell anything. You can move into a new business. You can start a new product or charity and raise money. You can get bigger partnerships. And I found that you can get really good at sales and marketing, and you can make a lot of money. But what is the one common thing that a lot of these guys and girls who've made a bunch of money behind the scenes, and you're one of them, bro. You made a bunch of money behind the scenes, and then you're like, there's got to be more to this. And you then became a leader. And you're like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to help other people. And that's what I see so many of these people doing is they make a bunch of money behind the scenes, and then they step up and they go, you know what? I need to become a leader. There's too many fake people online. I need to be one of the real ones.
Yes.
And so what I want to make sure people understand, though, is don't start your personal brand journey when you've quote unquote made it. Because what happens is there's the absolutely amazing people out there like the Ed Milet's, but we didn't get to see Ed Milet's journey on Instagram because he just started it 2 years ago. And so I wish I could go down the news feed of Instagram and see Oprah Winfrey's entire journey, Ed Milet's entire journey, Steve Jobs' entire journey.
Or even just some of the athletes and like
some of the athletes, Michael Jordan. Bro, it would be amazing. And so the lesson for everybody here is don't wait to start documenting your journey and do the other action steps that I'm going to share with you. Gerard and I are going to talk about here. Like, don't wait to do these things when you feel like you've made it. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make, I'm a victim of this too when I was getting started, is I got my confidence and my certainty from things that I had achieved. And the problem with that is if I haven't achieved very much, it becomes very difficult for me to have any confidence at all. How could I go on the internet and talk like I know anything if I haven't achieved much? And so most of the time we get our confidence and our certainty from what we have achieved, because otherwise it's false confidence. How could you have confidence if you haven't actually done anything? And so what I found though is this. Here's a massive drop bomb distinction. You can get your confidence, like some of the biggest legends in the world, you can get your confidence from your mission and your purpose. and the vision that you have. Your confidence does not have to come from your achievements. Your confidence can come from your mission and from your purpose and your commitment to what you're trying to achieve in the world. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. It has to be bigger than you. It has to be bigger than just a dollar sign. It has to be about the impact, the contribution, and the legacy that you're going to have. I'm getting goosebumps right now because if you know in your soul the mission, the vision, and the purpose that you have and the impact you're trying to make, and people are in alignment with that, they're going to vibe with you. They're going to rock with you. It doesn't matter if you've achieved stuff. If anything, people don't like to follow people who've only achieved a whole bunch of stuff. People like to follow the people who've changed the world, the Gandhis, the Martin Luther Kings, the Mother Teresas, who didn't necessarily have a bunch of accolades, but they had a mission, a vision, and a purpose that was so big that they believed in that everybody backed them up. Millions and millions of people did. So when you're doing your personal brand, when you're getting started wherever you are today, you do not want to have your confidence come from your achievements. You want your confidence to come from your mission, your purpose, and your vision, and share that with the world. That's where your confidence comes from.
Woo! Man, that was so powerful, bro. Oh my God.
It's getting hot in here, dude. I got to take my jacket off.
Oh, woo! Damn, that was so freaking good. I mean, guys, like what he's speaking is such truth, because I'm going to be honest. I suffered from imposter syndrome. I remember, and this is what's even crazy, is I can't even imagine, I mean, what my brand, the impact I could have made if I started 18 years ago when I decided to drop out of college, and all the struggles and the failures I had, and I documented it, and I kept trucking along, and I got back up, and I documented it, how resilient, and, got my first client, and then how that first client led to my 5th client, 10th client, $10 million later, $50 million later. Imagine if I took people on that entire journey. I wish I started earlier, but I always had that imposter syndrome. And then even when I made it, I still had this fear, because there's always someone out there that is got more followers, got more money, looks better than you, as they're talented, all that stuff. So you can get caught into the comparison. So how do you overcome with someone who is here right now? Guys, comment if you feel that way. Comment. I want to see who are the leaders here because I believe vulnerability is leadership. To comment one thing that has held you back from actually going all in on your personal brand. I want to see what the most common denominators are. For me, it was the fact that I was looking at Gary Vee and I was saying to myself, man, I had the Gary Vee syndrome. I started thinking I needed to be like Gary. I thought I wasn't good enough yet. And then I started just creating tons of crazy content all over the place before I figured out who I was and what my identity was and what my purpose was, so that I could start to create content that was based on who I am. So do you have any tips for someone who is right now going to comment a fear of the judgment, the imposter syndrome? How do you get out of your own way?
So great points, brother. And I align with all of that. I did the same thing in my own way. For me, it was Tony Robbins and, a little bit of this person and a little bit of this person that I, looked up to and aspired to be, and then realizing, okay, it's not that I want to be them. It's that I want to model the same qualities that they have. I want to model the same, maybe language patterns, the same confidence patterns. Maybe I want to model the same achievements. And so when you realize you don't want to be like that person, you just want to model their similar qualities. And then you can start to reverse engineer. How can I learn to communicate like them? How can I learn to be more confident like them? And then you can learn, you don't want to be like them. You want to model their qualities and traits. And so what I do is I find when somebody has something I want, I figure out what patterns they have, what belief patterns, what rituals, what habits, what language patterns do they consistently speak? How do they talk to others of all people? So on that note, but yeah, dude, I mean, for me, there's so many different things that I could tell people about what's really going to help them overcome fear of judgment. But the number one thing is action. It sounds simple. It sounds cliche and you hear it, but I'm going to give a little spin off on it. But the only way to really beat fear of judgment is action. You have to push through it and realize that it can't hurt you. It can't hurt you. Like that's what you got to do. You got to realize, you got to take action. You got to go online. And so here's a little mindset shift. Even me, and I speak in front of thousands of people like you. I have a show that reaches millions of people like you. We both have, relatively decent sized followings where we reach hundreds of thousands of people. Like, dude, even with that, even having made millions of dollars and done 8 figures online, like you, sometimes, depending on my biochemistry, my diet, my physical activity, whatever's going on in my life, sometimes before I go live like this, before I go on stage, my body might feel nervous. My body might start to feel those emotions of anxiety and judgment. And what if someone says something negative? What if I get this backlash? What if I stutter and mess up and don't say something right? And so what I've realized is 2 things. 1, recognize those emotions and appreciate them because they're trying to help you. Then it's called the 3 R's. And I learned this from one of my good friends and mentors, yours as well, John Asseroff. And he says, number 1, recognize the emotions. Number 2, you want to reframe it, give it a new meaning. And so what I first recognize the emotion and realize that it's trying to help me. Then I reframe it and I say, you know what? There's a study that's been done that shows the feeling of what's happening in your body, the biochemistry scans, when you look on a computer and your body's all hooked up to machines, the difference between anxiety and stress and feeling anxious versus feeling excited is exactly the same inside your body. But you give it a different meaning. You give it a different meaning. And so you want to reframe the fact that you're not really anxious and nervous. You're excited for the opportunity to serve people. And then release. That's the 3rd R is release. So recognize the emotion, reframe it, and give it a positive meaning, because life is more about not what happens to you, but how you give it labels and how you define what happens to you. And so recognize it, reframe it, give it a positive meaning, and then release it back into the universe and say, thank you for trying to protect me and trying to serve me. I'm going to give this a positive meaning, and I'm going to release it back into the universe so that it's positive energy and vibes. And then what I do is I remind myself of a couple things. What is my mission and my purpose and my vision? And that is so many things. One of the big ones is to really just inspire people. Like, I want people to say at my funeral, I inspired you to just live your best life, whatever that looks like. I inspired you to play full out. I inspired you to love more, to be more, to give more, to have more, and to just be the best version of who you can be. Like Ed Milet says, I don't want to die and go to heaven and have God introduce me to what the best version of me could have been. I want God to introduce me to the best version of who I could have been. And it's just me looking at in the mirror, and it's myself. Instead of me introducing to the best version of me, and I never accomplished that. I could have given more, I could have played more, I could have loved more, I could have had more, everything could have been better. And so I just remind myself of those things, bro. And then I realize, you know what never comes up in that list? Fear of judgment. You know what never comes up in that list? What anyone thinks or cares about me, because I don't care. Because as long as I'm in alignment with my mission, my vision, my purpose, and I'm playing full out and I'm serving and I'm trying to come from a place of love, and then none of it matters, bro. So you just gotta go through this little script in your head, because what most people happen is, here's the line, you have the negative fear and the emotion, and it hits it, and then what happens is you stop there, you feel the feelings, and you go into defense mode. For me, it goes right here, and it goes through the filter, and then I do all of those things I just said, and then I'm able to take action. And so what I do is I also have power moves that I've anchored into my body, so like I can go and like get into this like warrior mindset, and then calm myself down and get centered, and then warrior mindset, and then calm myself down and get centered. So the energy and the charge is in there, but then I can calm down and I can just be like this. But the warrior is right there behind the scenes. He's right behind the curtain. If he needs to come out, he can. And so those are all little techniques that I've used, that I've learned and I practice. Breathing is a good one. You just did it. Nice, deep, slow breaths. There's so many little techniques that you can learn. We just kind of shared a couple of them, but those help me get over fear of judgment. Those help me get over being frozen. A great quote from my friend Joe Polish, I heard him say, is, successful people are moving scared. Unsuccessful people are frozen stiff. And so don't think just because you see successful people online, don't think because you see successful people online that they're not scared, that they don't feel the same things. They're just moving towards their goals, sometimes scared, sometimes stressed out, sometimes anxious. And the difference is most people are frozen stiff and they never go after what they want. So
yeah, I love it, bro. I love it. And when you, like you said, when you're in service and you know that it's bigger than you, because there's such a powerful feeling that you have that, like, when you finally step into that fear and you put yourself out there and you let go and you just say to yourself, you know what? People are going to judge regardless. Like he said, even Mother Teresa, people like were the greatest leaders in history were judged. But once you let go of that, you realize that's what they were willing to stand for something, and they were serving others. And regardless of that fear, by them stepping forward and doing what they believe in and knowing that it was bigger than themselves, they made such a significant impact in the world. So each and every one of you has the ability to do that. And like you said, like, all of us go through that. I know I felt like that before getting on stage, before so many different moments, whether it was investor meetings, getting on stage in front of thousands of people, or jumping on social media like this. But I love the tactics that he talked about. And ultimately, I always remember, it's bigger than me. It's not about me. It's about all of you right now that are on this. I know there's one of you that's really paying attention, and that this is going to inspire you. And one shift in your mindset, one ritual that he just talked about that you start implementing, and you guys start showing up a little bit more powerfully after this live, and it can change your entire life in the way that you show up in your community, with your audience, in your business, as a leader. And that will 100% activate so much more relationships, more partnerships, more collaboration, more wealth, more money, more of all of it, more love, because people will see you. The right people will see you. More friendships, the love of your life. These people will see you because you're willing to be out there. And know that it's going to take, I always say to the entrepreneurs I work with, if you're not making mistakes, you're not moving forward. So you got to make mistakes. You got to stutter. You got to go out there. You got to put yourself out there. But through taking action, like Marc talks about, you will start to build that muscle, that warrior muscle he's talking about. It's going to get you to show up more and more powerfully. If you look back at my videos when I first started as a personal brand till now, it's a freaking progression. It takes time and it takes action. So Marc, that was so powerful. Thank you. So let's get into some of the good stuff, man. How do you make money from this shit, right? So, like, obviously everyone understands, everyone's at a different level here. But I want to know, like, what are you seeing as trends currently right now? So for someone who's actually building their personal brand, let's just say they have understood, they have a product or service, but maybe it's not fully optimized just yet. What would you say that you think are the few things that you see right now are the common mistakes that you're seeing in the marketplace that people need to be aware of and avoid in order for them to fully optimize content on social media to make money?
So great question, bro. Biggest thing, there's a lot. One of the biggest things, though, that you and I probably both see, and it's pretty evident, everybody listening right now and watching, they probably have seen this as well. Maybe they've even done it as well, is they create their content with the intention of trying to sell instead of creating their content knowing in their heart that this is here to help somebody and serve somebody, and that the goodwill and reciprocity of just producing hundreds and hundreds of videos, maybe thousands of videos over a couple years of just value, of just little tiny bite-sized pieces of content that move somebody one step closer to a better life, one step closer to an outcome, one step closer to their goal, one step closer to more money, whatever it is that your brand represents and is alignment with. That is the goal of content, to get people to feel like they know, like, and trust you as an individual, and that you're doing a really good job sharing what I call broad content and niche content. Broad content is going to be you and me in the very beginning of this call was more broad. It was talking about mindset. It was talking about feelings and emotions and behaviors and thought patterns. So it's more broad. I could talk about, my green smoothie that I drink. That's broad content. People might like it and vibe with it and be like, what do you drink to stay in peak shape and healthy? I go, here's my green drink and here's what I put in it. But I'm never going to sell you something related to that. That's not my business model, but it's broad. If I upload a viral video that's really emotional, like, the homies Princey A and Jay Shetty always upload videos like that, where it's very broad. Everybody in the world could relate to it because it has to do with like family or something going on in the world. It's very broad. It can relate to everybody or a lot of people. You want to do broad content because that connects you with your audience. That's what makes people feel like they really know Gerard. He's not just the smart businessman. He's a person. He's talking about doing this and doing that. He's talking about his vacation. He's talking about what's going on in his life. He's sharing his family behind the scenes on the holidays. He's sharing a little bit of everything. He's never going to necessarily have a business or a product related to any of those things, but that's what makes you feel like you know who Gerard Adams is. And that content is very instrumental to a personal brand, because that's how you create the personal connection. Just like your best friend, just like your team, just like your family. They don't love you because of your business. They love you because of the personal stuff. And that's what you share with them. That's what you need to share with your audience. But the distinction is, if you're trying to make money, you want to then have niche content. So when I'm talking about marketing, copywriting, personal branding, social media, and how to make money online, those are niche content pieces that are related to what I do for a business. And if I produce lots of that content for free, you're going to say, dang, this guy's so good at what he does. His free stuff has helped me get closer to making money, or maybe it has helped me make money for free. I can't wait to join his thing or his mastermind or his workshop or his program or his coaching or consulting. Niche content. So if you're in fitness and you're talking about where you're traveling, doesn't have anything to do with your fitness business. If you're in fitness and you're talking about getting in shape and exercises and supplements and diet things, that's going to be how you make your money. But this is how you build your connection, because everybody's doing fitness. So that's not going to help you stand out. Oh, you're in great shape. You don't stand out. Everybody's in great shape in the fitness space. So your personal brand, the broad content, who you are, what books you're reading, how what's going on in your life or your family, how you're feeling as a person. Like, some of the most successful people in the fitness space are not in very good shape, but they're more real. They're more personal. They share more real things going on in their life, broad. So I think the secret is making sure that you're not producing content with the intention of selling people, but you're truly authentically giving everything you have for free on your content, so that people can get to know who you are through broad content, and they can get to know who you, how you are as an expert. Broad content makes you a celebrity to the world. Niche content makes you an expert within your industry or niche. And when you find a way to do both of those together, and both of those, you're never trying to have the intention of like, I'm going to sell someone from this. You're giving everything you have. Like you and I are doing here. This is free. If somebody gets one thing and implements this over years, it could be worth a lot of money. It could give them more peace of mind. It can help them achieve their goals. So it's a combination. And we're doing it in the interview. We're talking a little bit of broad. We're talking a little bit of niche. And so at the end, you might be like, wow, Marc and Gerard are great human beings and they're cool and I vibe with them. And then over here, they're both super smart when it comes to marketing and online and stuff like that. So even we're doing it in the interview right now.
100%. So someone asked real quickly, like, what's a good balance? And Marc, what you're saying, guys, I just want to re-edify what he's saying, because that is literally what I've done. And what I think about is, like, what are your 5 brand pillars? Is one actionable item for you guys that you can think about is, what are your, like, you know, for me, I have 5. Maybe for you it's 3, but I recommend figure out what are 5 pillars of content that you want to create. So for me, entrepreneurship is a pillar. Storytelling is a pillar. Leadership is a pillar. Family is a pillar. Spirituality is a pillar, right? Those are my 5 pillars. I know that. So if you come to my page, you're going to see either me talk about consciousness and spirituality, personal growth, or you're going to see something to talk about directly correlated around entrepreneurship, right? Or you're going to see me talk about personal branding and storytelling, or you're going to see me talk about specifically leadership, or you're going to see me, like he said, with my family, celebrating on the holidays, or with my girlfriend, or with my sister, hiking. You're going to see one of those 5 things. So get clear on what are yours and have it be a balance, 1 or 2 that are personal to you. Maybe you love music. Maybe you love dance. Maybe you love basketball. Maybe you love, you know, whatever that is. Maybe you love freaking crystals like I do. I don't know. But maybe one of those are your personal things. And then the others should be your niche content, right? That is fitness, or maybe that's, healing others through meditation, or maybe you're a barber, and you want to show people how to cut hair, whatever that may be for you. So Marc, do you have a specific, just a specific strategy on how you balance those on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis? Or do you feel it's just more of like being conscious of those pillars?
It's both. So it's definitely being conscious, and it's also because you want to have a plan. I don't think that for the most part, life or business is good to just like randomly just shoot it from the hip. And like, it's a paradox. On the spiritual side of me says, go with the flow. The business side of me says, you need to have a plan. So it is both, right? Feel the energy and feel where you're coming from.
Right.
And this is also the strategy of it. I think that it should have a even dose. So your 5 pillars should be an even dose of all of them. But here's the thing. It should equate to 50-50.
Yeah.
So if you have 3 pillars in business that you talk about, for me, it's sales, marketing, and personal branding. And then over here, if I have 3 pillars personally, you said some of yours, family, spirituality, and consciousness, and another one. So it's like, okay, if you have 3 pillars on each, it should equate to 50-50. So maybe what you would do is do like 1 post of family, 1 post of business, 1 post of spiritual consciousness, 1 post of business, 1 post, or 2 posts, 2 posts. You get my at the end, if I go through 100 posts, it should even up. But here's the thing.
I love that.
If you're going to do a product launch, if you're going to sell a product, if you're going to tell people, look, I got my new book, my new mastermind, my new workshop, my new fitness program, my new coaching, my new whatever, I got a book, or I'm trying to raise money for my charity, then you just slam it nonstop for like 7 days, all about that. So it's a launch, so that it's not confusing, like, well, you just posted that and then this and that. So when you're in launch mode, you're in launch mode. And you do 7 to 10 days, maybe 14 days of just grinding and but it's got to be, there's a formula to it. We can get into it. It's value-based, but it's to the extreme. You go live every day and add more value. You post valuable content. You do social proof. You post testimonials. You do logical talking about the offer. You do emotional talking about the offer. And then you end with some scarcity. And so you close it down. But you want it, so there is strategy there. At the end of the day, there's the flexibility of doing what feels right for the day. If you plan out your content calendar, that makes it easy. You just post content you already had filmed.
Yep.
If you're filming it for the day and you feel more one way or the other, then do that. I recommend filming in advance, because sometimes I wake up and I don't want to do content every day. You might think me and Gerard are content machines, and we are, but that doesn't mean the machine wants to be on every day. And so I recommend filming content in advance. And if I'm all of a sudden in the mood to film some type of content, I might film that and I can put it on the shelf and post it later, or I can post it right now. Like I might be like, boom, I'm so fired up after talking with Gerard and doing this interview. I'm going to film some content and then I'm going to save it for later or post it right now. So I think there is some strategy, but there's also the flexibility to go with the flow.
I love it, bro. Man, I love it. It's so cool to jam with someone who gets it and is speaking literally what I do. Guys, he's spitting such wisdom, because this is what I do, like, on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you guys see, I mean, I would be burnt out if I had to be thinking about posts every day, all day long. You know, you have to look at, this is what's part of the personal branding aspect is yes, it's personal, but it's also a business. And with business, you need strategy, right? And, you know, it's getting clear on what are these types of content you want to create. And then it's also planning, right? Leadership is planning. So I do have 2 days a week where I'm specifically batching content, but then I know when I'm doing something and I'm out hiking, and I know how to flip that phone and create that authentic content that is real time as well, and not be afraid to do that. And I'll consistently, whenever I get inspired, like Marc talks about, I'll jump on and go live and I'll do these things. But I'm also I have a very much strategy, so I can maintain my energy and I can prepare, because you still have to be a CEO. You still have to run the business. You have to still work on the business, right? So I know that's why every day I do my live streams, 11:11. I time block. I know that's when I'm going to do my lives. I know how I'm going to repurpose my lives to podcasts. I know how I have strategy with all of these things so that I can still work on the business. So getting into more of the business side of things, let's talk sales. So Marc, what do you feel right now if someone is looking at, okay, they're posting content, they're building authority, they're building trust, they have an audience, and now they're ready to start taking sales to the next level. What do you see as sales mechanisms and sales systems right now that you see have been extremely profitable? And just like, let's say someone is between the 0 and 6 figure mark right now. What is the sales system that they should consider? Or maybe there's a couple to choose from for them to start bringing in sales consistently and predictably?
Okay, so I was going to say we can start basic and then I can go all the way up to advanced because I have an 8-figure business, so I can get all the way up to what does it look like to do $1 million? What does it look like to do $1 million in a month? And then
nice.
what does it look like? Yeah. And then so I can go high level. So I don't want people watching this to be like, this is some simple basic stuff. So your question was from 0 to 100 grand in a year. That's cool. We can start there.
Yeah.
But I do want people to know that if the conversation wants to get elevated, we can take it up to the $100,000 a week. Yeah, what do you guys want? Do you guys
drop. Do you guys want? We'll see what comes in the fastest. 0 to 6 figures sales systems, or 7 to 8 figures.
They're both fun to talk about.
See what comes in. Let's do it. I know. We could probably dive into a little bit of both, but I'm just curious to see where where they're at. Let's see. I know we've had some like really dope 8-figure entrepreneurs. We have some. Okay, cool. 0 to 6, 0 to 6, 7 to 8, 0 to 6.
Maybe
so
we'll
let's
just
start
do a little...
from 0 to 6, and then we'll work our way up.
Okay. Cool. All right. So
cool.
I'm definitely going to leave some things out because there's just not enough time. So, there are going to be missing pieces from the puzzle. So I'm not going to be able to, although I'm going to do my best to lay out a path, there are going to be missing pieces. So the first question is, how can you use your personal brand to get from 0 to $100,000 a year? That's the first question, G?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing to understand is, what is the problem that you're actually solving? Because the problem is going to be how you figure out your product. The problem is going to be how you figure out what your brand represents. The problem is going to be how you figure out who your audience is. The problem is going to be how you come up with your content strategy, your partnership strategy, and all the other things. So first, identify what is the problem that you're actually solving. That's number one, because people get paid to solve problems. What's the difference between the income earner of a brain surgeon and the income earner of somebody who cleans houses? All of us can clean houses. We just might not do a good job at it, but all of us can clean houses, and it's a $10, $15 an hour job. But a brain surgeon is $1 million job because it's so rare and it solves a really big problem because it's literally saving someone's life. And so just as a hypothetical example, so knowing what problem you solve is going to determine a lot. You can either solve a really expensive problem or you can solve a relatively easy problem, like helping people get in shape, but you can then choose, am I helping a billionaire get in shape? Am I helping a billionaire's children get in shape? That's going to be worth a lot more to him. So you first figure out the problem you want to solve, and then you figure out the unique niche or niche that you want to be in. So first identify the problem, then identify the niche or the niche that you want to solve. So the very specific, like I said, weight loss is a problem. You want to help people get in better shape, have more energy, but is it for grandmas? Is it for children? Is it for high school kids, college kids? Is it for professional athletes? Is it for women who just had babies? There's so much more than just, I want to help people get in shape. Now you want to get very, 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 very specific. Type of income. So the problem, the target audience, the niche, and get as specific as you possibly can. Once you've got that, the rest is easy. Like, for example, one of my friends helps Christian entrepreneurs who want to grow their business to 7 figures. He helps them do that specifically through using challenges. And so he's very specific, and he just started like 18 months ago, and he's already done over $10 million, something crazy like that, like in 18 months. All because he figured out the problem, he figured out the audience. He got so specific. Wow. So he's like the #1 guy in that space right now. And he just blew up overnight because he got so specific that he was so different, even though he's not doing something that's necessarily like, we've all heard of challenges before, but he's doing it so specific in a specific niche in a specific way. So first identify the problem, then get very, 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 very clear on who has the problem that you're going to help solve. And then we can now start to create content around that, broad and niche. We can start to create either products and services, or we can partner up with other companies that already have the product and the service, and we can create an affiliate relationship, a joint venture relationship that's going to allow us to use their products and services to serve the audience. So from 0 to 100 grand, figure out the problem, figure out the audience that has it, get very specific, Then you can start to create content, broad and niche. Niche to make you the expert, broad to really help you connect with your audience. If you're not an expert on the topic, even though I said to make you the expert, you might not be the expert. Here's a simple little clue. You turn around, you grab a book off the shelf, or you go on Amazon.com and you buy the top 5 best-selling New York Times bestseller books on the subject of what you're trying to do. Who already wrote a book on the problem you're trying to solve? Because you're not the first person in the world trying to solve the problem. So what problem are you trying to solve? Who already has a New York Times best-selling book on the problem? Go and buy all 5 of the top books or 10 of the best books. And then every book that you read, chapter 1 is a piece of content on your YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. Chapter 2 is a content. Maybe it's even a blog article. Chapter 3. And so each book usually has 30 chapters. By 5 books, there's 150 chapters. That's at least 150 to 300 pieces of content. You're good for the year now. You've got all your content for the year because you bought 5 books. And all you're doing is saying, hey, what's up? My name's Marc Lack, and I'm going to help you get in the best shape of your life. If you're 28 to 35 years old, you're a busy entrepreneur and you're working from home and you have the laptop lifestyle, you're making 100 grand to 200 grand a year, and I'm going to share with you all the best ways to stay in great shape even though you're busy. And then I read the books and I say, and I don't have to like hold the book open. I just go, one tip that you can do is blah, 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 blah. Done. That's it. And then every day I post a video like that. And you're following me and you're like, dude, this guy's giving away some really good, valuable stuff for free. Some of it's short form, some of it's medium form, some of it's long form. Then I go out and I interview other experts who are other true experts. I'm just a beginner, but I'm going to share all the best expert advice because most experts are doing it wrong. Most experts don't leverage their personal brand. Go and look. The top 5 best-selling books in the world on your subject that you're going to solve the problem of, they don't have Instagram accounts probably. They probably don't even have a social media presence, but they have a New York Times best-selling book. So you can just share their content and give them credit and then set up an affiliate link and sell their book and get commission off Amazon by becoming an Amazon affiliate of their books. And then you can go on ClickBank and other things and find great high converting products and services that are digital because we live in a digital world now. And people can follow you with your great content that's sharing other great information that people like. It's a New York Times bestseller with 5,000 5-star reviews. You already know people want it, but no one's sharing it on the internet the way you're going to, and they're not you. So you have a competitive advantage because you're different, you're special, and people are going to vibe with that. And then you're sharing content that the author's not even sharing. And you just are doing it in a fun, creative, entertaining, educating, short, concise, snackable, bite-sized way on social media. You're going to grow your following. You can even go out and interview those experts because most of them are happy to do interviews if they don't have any followers. So now you can interview these experts, which then creates authority alignment. You're now interviewing other experts. And all of a sudden, after doing this for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're the next freaking expert. You're the next person in the space. Now you actually are an expert. And over those years, you're going to have other people's products you can sell, like Dr. Oz. He doesn't have any products of his own. He sells thousands of other people's products that he gets paid to recommend. And then you eventually create your own products and services. But in the meantime, you just have a cell phone and a brain and a mouth, and you can go out and you can study information. You can share it on camera like we're doing right here from the comfort of your house, and slowly but surely you'll build an audience. Slowly but surely you'll build some credibility and some expertise and some trust. And then you'll be able to take other people's products and services and sell them, and then eventually create your own products and services and sell them. And then eventually you're going to want to hire people and a team and systems and processes. And then you're not going to want to just rely on organic traffic, which is free, but you're also going to want to go and do paid traffic. You're going to want to run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, maybe radio, television, magazine, newspaper, who knows? But you're going to want to run paid media in addition to your organic strategy. And so that's kind of like the basics from 0 to 100K.
I love it, man. Wow. So powerful, guys. You're going to have to like rewatch this, dive in. And you know what? That's just real. You know, I saw someone ask, is that plagiarism? But that's just being smart. You know, it's, you know, I think like, you know, ultimately I used to hate on people that were out there sharing shit and just like reading from books and all of that. But I think if you're doing it authentically in the sense that like you're being honest, you're doing it with integrity, with giving credit and sharing, right? Not trying to take ownership of it. Where I feel you're out of integrity is when you're literally stealing word for word with other people's work and you're trying to make it your own. But otherwise, if you're giving them credit and you're helping promote them, and then you're putting your unique spin on it. I'll give an example. I read a book is called The Second Mountain. And I thought the book was so powerful, talking about how the first mountain is about creating material wealth in your life. And you kind of achieve all those accolades, you make all that money, and then what happens is what we talked about earlier is you realize there's a second mountain. The second mountain is you go back to help others, you bring them up with you on the second mountain, and it's more about fulfillment and helping others and service and serving others. But I started thinking to myself, man, this really inspired me. I started sharing a little bit about the second mountain, giving credit to David Brooks, the author, but then I put a spin on it and said, guess what? There's a third mountain. Now, that David doesn't talk about, which is a whole nother level of where you rise as a conscious leader. And the first two mountains, even though you're still being of service on the second mountain, it's still a grind and a hustle. But with the third mountain is when you're so fully aligned to who you are that it's effortless at that point. Yes, you still hustle, but it's not the same anymore. It's not the same grind as at the first mountain and the second mountain. It's a little bit more of just, you are just being, you're fully integrated, but you know who you are. It's easy. You don't have to force anything. People are naturally attracted to you, and you're so clear on your purpose and you're so aligned that you kind of like float up that third mountain and people naturally gravitate to you. And I found that to be true. And, you know, again, this is a way for you to just leverage. I just did that this weekend. If you guys were following my story, I shared this book I've been reading, Over Deliver. What did I do? It inspired me. I shared on my story yesterday about over-delivering in your life, over-delivering in your clients, your relationships, your friendships, your family, to strangers, right? Like yesterday, it inspired me because I saw someone that was stuck on the side of the road that needed help. I over-delivered with just helping them to get help because they couldn't get in touch with someone to help them to unlock the car. So we ended up helping them by getting them a hanger to get in their car to help them open up. And I shared to my story about over-delivering. So I think what he's talking about is so true. And eventually you start getting comfortable being someone that is teaching, and you start learning yourself in the process. I think the best way for you to become a teacher is to actually practice teaching. You learn something twice by reading something and then teaching it. And that allows you to start becoming that expert. So super valuable, bro. We're probably only going to have another 5-10 minutes, Marc. So I want to open it up, some questions. I know we have that 7 to 8 figure. We kind of left them hanging, but you did give them a little bit of an idea of what it looks like when you start implementing systems and start going in the paid marketing strategy. If you have anything there you want to throw in for a minute or two, I'll start looking up. Guys, drop your questions in that box. I'll take about 2 of them, 2, 3. I'll pick the best ones, and then we'll all just say thank you to Marc and let him go back to building his 8-figure business.
Yeah, so basically I'll start, teasing towards the 8 or 7 and 8 figure level. What you really need to do is understand that business is a game of numbers. So when you start to shift over from organic to paid, you have a lot more control. Organic is awesome because it's free. You get free traffic, free engagement, free followers, and that means that you probably have no customer acquisition cost. But when you start to do paid media, you have a lot more control. You know you can reach 100,000 people every day, or 1 million people every day, or 1 million people a month. You know you can target the exact audience. You know you can show them your exact ad, but it's going to cost you money. But if you know your numbers, and you know for every dollar that goes out the door, you make $1.50, would you immediately mortgage your home and put $100,000 out if you knew that month $150,000 was coming back and you had a $50K profit from this very elementary hypothetical scenario? Of course. Every time that you could spend $1 and make $1.50, assuming the margin on the $1.50, you had 50% profit. Of course, how would you not do that? You make 33% profit. So if you know your numbers, then it becomes very easy for you to start to invest in hiring a team to buy your time back, because that's what you do when you get to the next level. When you're stuck at 6 figures, most 6-figure people are wearing all the hats. They're doing every position. They're doing the marketing, the accounting, the finance, the customer service. They're building everything. They're writing everything. They're doing their own websites. So 6-figure people are usually stuck wearing every single hat. They're doing every single position. Yeah. They're doing low income activities, not just high income. So what you want to do is you want to start to allocate, where is my time being spent? Write down every 30 minutes where you spend your time, from when you wake up to when you go to bed. Write down every 30 minutes how you do it. And then at the end of the day, highlight everything that was a low impact, a low income activity. Meaning, what is your time worth? $50 an hour, $100 an hour, $200, or what should it be worth? and then figure it out. Oh man, every activity I did today, Gerard, was only a $20 an hour activity. No wonder I'm not growing. I could now outsource those activities. I love it when a coach tells me they charge $500 an hour, and then I make them do that exercise, and 8 out of 10 hours they do $20 an hour activities, and only 2 hours they charge $500. And then the rest were low income, low impact activities that they're so busy doing. And I go, no, it's not an expense to hire somebody. It's an investment, because you just bought back. You just bought
your
back
time.
You just bought back your time. Successful people don't trade time for dollars. They trade their dollars to get time. Think about that. Broke people trade their time for dollars. Successful people trade their dollars for time. It's the exact opposite. So if you're trading your time for money, you will struggle to become the achievement of success you're capable of. What you need to realize is hiring someone to do what you can do is not an expense. $100,000, $200,000 people, oh, I can do that. I don't need to hire somebody. That's an expense. Wrong. You'll never get to $2 million if you're doing a $20 an hour activity. You only have 24 hours in a day. So you have to know your numbers. If you spend, if it's 8 hours a day, you're doing a $20 an hour activity, that's $160 a day to get back those 8 hours. But if in those 8 hours you know exactly what to do to go make more money, then it didn't cost you anything. You now bought back 8 hours of your time a day for $160, and now as long as you can go make $500 with those 8 hours, then you just made $340 profit a day. And then figure out what you're doing that can be outsourced again. And then so you want to put yourself out of business. You want to pay everybody to do everything you're doing, so you have all the time in the world, and you can sit back and go, holy crap, Gerard, I put myself out of business. My whole team runs my company. I don't have to do anything. This is amazing. My whole team runs my company. I don't have to do anything. I can jump on live streams with my homie anytime I want. my whole team runs my company. And so you have to know your numbers, create people and systems to run everything. But if you know your numbers, you'll realize those cost money, but they're investments that make you back more money and get you more time. And then it also falls right into marketing. If I know how to buy my time back to grow my company, I also want to know how to buy customers. Customer acquisition cost. I can spend $100,000 on Facebook ads and make 150 immediately. So I made 50. And then what's the long-term value of the people who saw my ads? What's the long-term value of the people who bought that are going to buy again? What's the long-term value of the people who joined my email list that I can nurture forever and didn't buy now but will buy later? Really, if I put 100,000 in Facebook ads, make 150,000 that month, I made 50,000 immediately. But I know the long-term value is probably 250,000, because the buyers are going to buy again. The non-buyers are going to buy later. The people who saw my ads will see the retargeting ads and come back and buy later. So really, if you know your numbers, it becomes very easy to scale up to the $1 million, $10 million level, and even the $1 billion level. It's just knowing your numbers is the difference between 6 figures, 7 figures, and 8 figures. The numbers are just bigger. There's more moving parts. As my mentor says, it's a bigger Rubik's Cube. There's just more moving parts, but it's the same thing. You got to know your moves. You got to know your numbers. So that's it, G. If you got some more questions, let's nail it before we get kicked off.
Powerful, bro. Powerful, man. So powerful. So we have a couple questions that were in the similar realm, so I'm going to combine them. People are just basically asking, like, with the Instagram algorithm, you know, and thinking about all the different platforms, what are your thoughts there? You know, I kind of have some thoughts there in the sense of, like, Marc, and maybe you can, I'll give you a layup here, but, you know, you see a lot of people that have huge followings, but they're broke as fuck. And I think people make sure to be reminded that, like, it's not necessarily, yes, you want to grow your audience for sure, but it's kind of what you talked about earlier, right? It's about knowing your audience and, like, speaking directly to who it is that you want to serve. Because I know people, I have clients that have less than 10,000 followers that have $1 million businesses, but they're speaking directly to a specific niche. But what are your thoughts on, like, still at that same time taking into consideration all different platforms and the Instagram algorithms as well?
So the importance of being on every platform, I just want to get the question right. So how do I grow my following, or be on every platform? Which one? Both?
Yeah. So it's like, do you believe? So I guess, let's just focus on, do you think that we need to be on every platform?
Definitely not. The first thing you should do is figure out, where does your audience hang out the most? maybe your audience reads blog articles the most. And so you should be like way more focused on blog articles, because maybe you have an audience that reads way more blogs, or maybe your audience listens to podcasts way more. So you should create a podcast, or you should pay companies to get you on everybody's podcast in that niche. I think there's still over 2 point something billion people on Facebook. So I just think you kind of have to be on there. If you're targeting children, which is a different niche, because, you know, Toys R Us, they're targeting children for toys, or they're targeting parents who buy the toys. So, you know, TikTok is a younger demographic, but there's a lot of people there. I think Facebook's kind of a must. Again, I'm making a broad generalization, but I think Facebook's a must. I think Instagram is also kind of a good secondary must. I think YouTube is an absolute must. I blew it. I didn't focus on YouTube for 6 years, and I blew it. I should have.
I know.
I blew it. YouTube is I would say you have to be on YouTube. Think about it. YouTube's everything. It's a search engine. It's just everything is, and Google owns YouTube. So if you search on Google, it comes up on YouTube. So,
but is it too late? It's not. It's still
no. It's not too late. It's not too late. No, it's just adding to the library.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's never too late. Don't think that. I mean, there's some things that are too late. Social media is definitely not one of them. So I think YouTube's a yes, Facebook's a yes, Instagram's a yes, and then LinkedIn, depending on if your audience is a little more business focused. The other platforms I'm kind of up in the air on. I think it depends on your audience heavily, but those 4 platforms I think are a yes: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, depending on who your audience is. And then the size of your following matters as a vanity metric, but it doesn't have a correlation to your bank account always. Sometimes it does, but not always, like G said. And then somebody said, does my branding matter on social media? It can, but it doesn't always matter. There's way more evidence that shows just being authentic and real and having entertaining, educating, valuable content that people care about is way more important than having high quality video production and branding and stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you're trying to have a more high quality brand that's luxury, then, you know, Louis Vuitton and Lambo and Bentley, they're not taking photos on an iPhone. They're getting professional photography because it's in alignment with the brand value and perception. So you just got to think about it. The value of a personal brand, though, is people cut you a little slack when you just go live. They're like, oh my gosh, so-and-so's live. I get to see the real authentic version of them as a human being, which is another benefit of a personal brand. People cut you some slack because they want to see the real authentic person behind the brand. So again, with a personal brand, you get a little bit of slack. But I also do think, back to what I said, if you're trying to come off as more professional, then you do want to have higher quality photos, higher quality video, but people do still want to see the authentic you. So find a good balance.
Powerful, bro. Woo.
I'm looking at questions on here too.
You're looking at questions like, if you see what, can you look at them as well?
Yeah, I can scroll through. I can't see the same ones you can. If people typed them privately, then I can't see that. I can just see them on the news feed. Somebody said, so paying for PR to get noticed. Yes, that's a good strategy. You can do that. Somebody said, what do you mean by numbers? Bro, every number. Your accounting. What does it cost for you to get a customer? All of it. This guy said, oh, it went away.
It was, you had just answered it. How do you, I think you might have said it, but how do you find out where your audience is?
Yeah, so you got to do research. It should be pretty obvious, but you can always go online. Like, you know, if your audience was elderly people or baby boomers, then you could go online and start searching, like, where do elderly people hang out? What do they read? What do they do? There's a lot of research online. Facebook and Google Analytics give you tons of free information you can get for free. So just go to YouTube Analytics or Google Analytics, and it'll pull up like all the information that you want. You just have to do research. Put it that way. Like, you're asking a very simple question. It shows that you haven't done it shows that you haven't done the research. Just go spend a couple hours on Google and start typing in questions and digging down the rabbit hole. You'll find your audience. It's easy, and where they hang out. It's not hard.
So, Marc, I don't want to get kicked off. I also got down to like 10% juice, so I don't want to lose this live. So,
Same.
Bro, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, as always. Absolute fire. I'll put this together in a folder for you. It'll be repurposed into the podcast. I'll share that with you. Hey, guys, please go and let Marc know how valuable this was. Go comment on his last picture. Hit him up. And make sure you guys prepare for that podcast when it drops. It'll be repurposed so you guys can listen to it. There was so much gold in this. And, bro, I love you, man. I appreciate you. And I'll see you soon once this whole thing kind of opens back up.
You know it. Love you, bro. Appreciate you. And for everybody who was on here, appreciate you guys as well.
Cool. Thanks, Marc. Talk to you soon, bro. Crush your day.
Later, bro. You too. Peace.
All right, guys, another super powerful live. Wow, so much gold. I feel so honored that I have such unbelievable friends like this that have so much wisdom. We have done the work. I'm going to continue to keep bringing you guys and introducing you to a lot of powerful, influential leaders that are just got so much wisdom to share. I'm really curious, what was something that you learned from this live stream? So I'm going to end it. Go comment on my last picture. Let me know what is something that you took away from this. I also like to see who my day ones are. I'll look at your profiles, like some of your stuff, and appreciate every single one of you for taking time out of your day. Make sure to subscribe to the Leaders Create Leaders podcast, where all of these will be put on my podcast. If you have missed this week already, we had Dave Meltzer this week come out. It was a super powerful podcast. Check it out, Leaders Create Leaders. And if you post it to your story, I'll repost you. Again, guys, thank you so much. Go crush your day. And remember, leaders create leaders. Be the leader. Peace.